Hey there everybody, welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review All 8 Eyes #1. But before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, commenting, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. Alright, we got the cover here for All 8 Eyes #1. It is a Darkhorse comic, and it is by Steve Fox, Piotr Kowalski, Brad Simpson, and Hassan Otsmane-Alehu. And we start off in 2003 in Alphabet City, New York, with our main character Vin, who has currently been locked out of his apartment by his roommate. And that's because Vin has not paid rent in over 4 months. So Vin decides to go out for a walk, and as he's walking through a park, he hears a noise behind a bush, and when he walks over to see what it is, he sees a homeless man hitting something with a hammer and a body on the ground. So he freezes because he thinks that this guy is committing a murder, and he actually pulls out his phone to call 911, but the guy with the hammer hears him, and he hits the phone out of the kid's hand. And the man tells Vin it's not what he thinks it is, and that he needs to come over and look at the body. So Vin goes to check it out, and he finds a man who's half wrapped up in spider webs, and a giant spider next to him dead. And it seems that the spider is what the homeless man was hitting with the hammer. So of course, Vin is super freaked out by this. He takes off running, and the homeless man catches up to him and grabs him by the hood, which inadvertently makes Vin fall down and become unconscious. And that's where we're going to stop it. I don't want to spoil anything else. So I checked out this book because I'm a fan of movies like Arachnophobia and Eight-Legged Freaks, and I was hoping that this would have the same feel as those, kind of a horror mixed with a comedy. But for me personally, something just didn't click with this one. And I think the main reason why it didn't click is because we're supposed to believe that these big spiders have lived among us, and we just never noticed them. And apparently they only eat homeless people or people who live on the streets. Because of that, the normal everyday people and police and stuff don't take notice of the spiders or care about the deaths. And personally, I just wasn't buying that. It just didn't seem like there was a good explanation to why the spiders would only attack homeless people and wouldn't build giant webs in between buildings and stuff. So I think the premise was kind of like a fun setup, but it doesn't seem that the writer thought out all the different world logic issues with this idea. Of course, I could be wrong, and maybe this gets addressed in a later issue, but for me, I just didn't buy into the conceit of this story. I actually thought the art was good. It was my favorite part of this book. I think he did a good job with the spiders and making them look horrific. So no complaints here on the art front. So the whole time I was reading this book, I felt like this should have just been an issue of the comic book Ice Cream Man. Because in that book, there's a lot of spider imagery, and the art's kind of similar to this, but that book is a lot more horror-centric, because I didn't think anything was really scary in this book, and that might be because I just didn't buy into the main premise of it. So I'm going to give this book a 2 out of 5. I don't think I'll be reading it any further, but I think that if you're a person who goes with the flow and just kind of has fun reading stories and doesn't think too hard about the logic of the story setup, then you might enjoy this if you like giant spiders and light horror books. So if you saw anything you like, definitely go pick that up at your local comic book store, and we will see y'all in the next one.